So internships.com is a portal to connect students and graduates to startups and small businesses who provide entrepreneurial work placements. So we've created a new word for ourselves, an internship, which is different to the usual corporate internship, which usually you do in a bank or a law firm. What we're doing is connecting you to small businesses and startups who you'd normally never come across on campus, but who can provide a really entrepreneurial and exciting work opportunity. So with internships, we're really trying to portray the message that you're no longer going to just walk into a graduate job after graduating. The jobs market is increasingly competitive, and employers of any kind want to see what form of work experience you've done. So a success story for us is where a first year undergrad may do an internship in their summer, they may go on to do an internship in their second year, and then maybe even in the Easter of their third year. So by the time you leave, you would have done 3 internships in a range of industries, in small businesses that you can demonstrate entrepreneurial skill set, the ability to take risk and to innovate and to actually try out experiences in different industries. So when you graduate, you'll have a really good understanding of what it is that you want to do. And even if you decide to go join a big corporate or a big bank, your experience will stand you apart from the crowd. Yeah, I think in a difficult jobs market, it actually can be a blessing in disguise, because some, for example, my peers at university, they would just ordinarily think about going into a job, whether it be in banking or consulting, even if it's not really what they want to do, but they feel that they must do that because everybody does it. Whereas now, in the face of less jobs out there, less corporate opportunities or graduate jobs, they're actually taking a step back and thinking, what is it that really motivates them? What are they really interested in? And it may be that actually they want to go out and travel for a year, or they want to go and do an internship and work in a small business. And actually it's having that space to step back and actually assess what it is that really motivates you and what you're really passionate about. I think it's really important to gain a wide range of experience before you select your career path, and that's precisely the ethos and the motivation behind setting up internships. We really want to say to you that actually you don't have to just fall into a job. You should really try and explore your options, and you should be thinking about developing your career and your CV from the day you enter university, and think about the fact that you have your Easter holidays, your summer holidays, you've got Christmas holidays. There's lots of periods of time where you could do short-term work placements in a range of industries, so that you're really equipped with the knowledge that after you graduate, that actually, yes, I see that I have a particular skill set, whether it be in marketing and sales or IT or social media, and that you particularly want to work in this industry. So you will leave with a far better understanding of your interests and passions. I definitely think that entrepreneurship is on the increase amongst young people. If I just look back to the time I was running Oxford Entrepreneurs, which is the Society for Student Entrepreneurs at Oxford, the society had grown to become the second largest, second to the union, in the matter of 7 or 8 years, to the extent where I was a full-time sabbatical president. So I took a year off of my degree to run it full-time. And that is a phenomenal rate of growth. And we've seen that not only at Oxford, but at universities across the country, to the extent where there's now a national umbrella body called NACU, the National Consortium of University Entrepreneurs, which brings together university enterprise societies from across the country. So this is a definitely positive sign and a movement that we're seeing, where students are seeing entrepreneurship as a career path and as a viable route after leaving university. I think new media and IT has been instrumental in helping young people set up their own businesses. The cost of starting up has gone down. If you've got an online business, you can literally start with next to nothing, with a few £100s, buy the domain, get a developer, build a website. It's actually very cheap to start your own business, and so cost should not be a barrier, especially if you have an online venture. And with tools like social media, it makes it free to promote yourself and the business. And so, for example, with internships, we use Twitter quite a lot to promote the roles that we have on the site and get the word out there, because when you're just starting up and you're bootstrapping, you don't have investment into the company, it's really important to utilize these free tools which are out there, which can really help amplify your message. I found, and I'm finding, the experience of starting my own business as a young entrepreneur exciting. It's very rewarding, but it's also very challenging because I've gone into this without necessarily years of corporate experience or without an MBA. I'm kind of learning as I go along, and I very much believe that the best way to learn is by doing. And so I'm making mistakes and I don't have all the answers, but I'm quite comfortable with that. I'm quite comfortable with uncertainty, and I'm willing to take that risk. And so, and when you're young and you don't have kind of big overheads or a family to support per se, I think it is possible to do that. So I would encourage young people who are thinking about starting their own business that the best time to do it is when you're young. So I think it's a tough one really. The main ingredients of a successful startup, obviously having a good team, having the right kind of mixture of the entrepreneur, but also the people to complement your skill set around you. And the idea, obviously, you've got to actually have something which you think is viable, as whether it be a social enterprise or a commercial venture that you think is fulfilling a need and a demand. And if I had to go back in time and give myself one bit of advice, I think it would be to be a bit more careful with equity and with the distribution of equity. I think when you're starting up and you're starting a business and you need to get people on board or do get stuff done, you don't have the money, you feel that equity is a currency which you can just distribute here and there, but actually because it doesn't have any value at the time, but you need to think ahead and actually if you have belief in your idea and the value of your business and your proposition, that is something very valuable which you shouldn't just give away on a whim and you should really think hard. So I think I would, if I had to go back and do it all again, I would just reassess how I distribute equity, how I incentivize people around me, and so that's what I would probably say. I think it's essential to tackle youth unemployment, underemployment through grassroots approaches because ultimately I myself am a recent graduate. As I said, I graduated in 2008. I kind of know the struggles and the challenges my peers are facing. There are still people I know who graduated the same year as me who haven't found a job. It's a very tough market out there. So I think in terms of government, if they're serious about this whole notion of a big society and actually being facilitators rather than being top down to being bottom up, it's actually that I think the solutions are going to come from the private sector and from those end users who are actually experiencing these problems and coming up with innovative solutions.